Ready. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Hi. So now I'm absolutely paranoid about the waveforms moving the whole time.
That's your life.
It's
your life now.
my life now. Hi. So welcome to Book Buffet. It is another absolutely frigid Thursday morning. So we thought we would really lean into that today. My name is Courtney. I'm one of the teen librarians at the Addison Public Library, where we are currently inside. And you
are Rachel.
That is true. Yeah.
Another teen librarian.
Yep.
In the sound studio.
Yep. And I appreciate that Rachel hangs out with me. And we get paid to do it. And we get paid to talk about a bunch of books, which is a great day anyway. If you possibly missed last week, we are now currently in our sound studio. This is a room inside the library that you can come and use. You can kind of like check it out for, I think, 2 hours at a time.
Yeah.
And it's got tons of great equipment in here, from like keyboards to scanners to like digitizing old media, which is grand fun. And it has allowed us to come up with some ideas for possible future streams on some stuff. I need to contact some people, but we might have some really interesting stuff coming up soon, depending on how things go. But this is like a great spot if you want to like work on a podcast, or like produce music, or whatever you have. We've got these sound reduction panels that you can kind of see around, that kind of help a bit. But yeah, it's a good little space for the time that it has left, because we have a renovation running, and slowly things will be changing in our library, all for the better. It's going to be amazing. But
I do think that by the time they get to where they're renovating where this is, new space will be...
I think you're right, yeah.
At least a space.
It'll be a space, for sure.
It may not be filled with all the things yet.
The new sound studio looks staggeringly great.
Yeah. And it's going to have better sound dampening.
I think they're going closer to soundproofing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how close it'll be going to that, but we do know that that's something that people would really like more of. So I think we're going to have a lot more of that beautiful, meaty soundlessness.
That'll be fun.
We're looking forward to it.
Stream from there someday.
There's a strong possibility that you'll see us there in the future.
Yeah.
And then we'll look back at these streams and be like, wow, remember that room? If you follow us, you might have watched us on Tuesday. Tuesday we played Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, which was incredibly a lot of fun. If you're watching this right now,
I was so tired that night.
We went through so many rounds.
Yeah.
We went through like over 60 rounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because after that I edited the stream and I put counters up of how many times we like completed or fell, which is very fun. But you can see that on our YouTube. But that's, at least you can watch it on our Twitch for a bit if you wanted to do that. It goes away on Tuesday. But there's a bunch of clips that I kind of snagged from that stream that'll be living on our Twitch channel for a long while.
It doesn't make me look good.
It does not make Rachel look good.
You look evil.
Mind you, I was the one making the clips, so I am allowed to make a narrative.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what else the narrative could be.
Lawyer. What's the, not defense lawyer.
Would you feel better if I taught you how to make clips?
Maybe.
So then you can try and twist this narrative?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do some clip learning later.
We're doing some training.
Yeah, which is good. Hey. All right, well, let's talk books.
Talk books.
So on a cold, absolutely frozen day, we think that you really have two options for the kind. Well, first of all, you have one option: stay inside, read a book.
Yeah.
Because I think that's all we really want to do. Cozy up, read a book. However, the question is, do you read a book that suits your frozen environment, or do you read a book that is like cozy and just like makes you feel good? And so like, do you really sink into the cold, or do you kind of like do what you can to avoid the cold? So we have each taken a stance. And I think I know strongly which stance I am at, simply because also of the books. I've not read all of the books that I've picked, but they're all on my TBR now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely read some of yours, but that's a more Courtney stack than it is a Rachel stack.
Specifically where I'm at right now. Yeah. So we'll see if you can figure it out real fast. I've not even seen like all the ones that you've picked. I don't think I've read any of them.
Yeah.
I'd read that one just based on the cover alone, though.
I think you would like that one.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I'm definitely going to lean more into the cold.
Yep, and I'm solidly going cozy, which works because this is like the coziest jacket I have. Yeah. It's one where like I will be overheated in 2 seconds, but I never want to take it off because it's so fuzzy.
Yeah.
All right. So, how about you knock us with a cold one?
Let's start off with the classic tale of the Donner Party.
Oh, okay.
It was cold.
It was cold.
Yes, and in fact, the snow fell 3 graves deep. That's what we have here. This is a very cool.
That's a cool cover.
First novel.
Oh, nice.
Told from the perspective of people in the Donner Party. So it is fiction, but inspired by the ill-fated journey of the Donner Party.
So if you're not familiar with the Donner Party, it was 1846.
1846.
A group of people were traveling, trying to get to California, I think. Mm-hmm. And while they were in the mountains, they got trapped and snowbound and basically had to wait out the winter with very dwindling supplies. And when they came through the other side, not everybody made it. And there were reports of cannibalism and other things. It's sort of one of those, like, no one really knows the true story of what happened, simply because, one, it's horrific, 2, people didn't really record very well, and 3, like, people weren't necessarily telling all of the story.
Yeah,
because
this is the 1840s. So
like
we weren't. Of course, there's no digital recording. There's no photos. There's not. Yeah, it's just people's narratives when they got the survivors when they got to where they were headed.
So this is historical fiction based on a true event.
So there is
maps. I'm already maps.
And I think there's like timeline, maybe, or just some like extra.
But it being a verse
sources.
Novel. Yeah.
German words from the story. Read more about the Donner Party. So yeah, it's definitely one we give to teens all the time who are interested in this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's cool about the verse aspect is, it makes it a little bit more lyrical.
Oh, so it's like their diaries.
Yeah. And it is narrated by Hunger. Like, that is like the frame, is you hear from Hunger.
That's cool, though.
Saying, like, don't blame me. Like, people get hungry, and, like, this is just what happens. And so Hunger will, like, dip in every so often, but then you hear from the different people on the trail.
That's really cool.
There's even snow.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, there's a snow one. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
What a cool way to go. I'm sold on that, and I don't even want the cold ones. Like,
yeah, right? But
that's really cool.
It's a cold one.
Okay. I feel like we're just gonna like shift gears completely every single time.
Yeah.
'Cause like,
if that's not for you, what about?
What about? You know what? All right. You went for a historical fiction. I'll go with also a historical something or other. James Herriot. All Creatures Great and Small. If you're looking for a cozy read, like, this is kind of like one of the beginning ones. James Herriot was a vet who would work out. Well, he was a country vet in the Yorkshire Dales. There we go. I said the word. He he just wrote all of his stories of these experiences treating animals, working with the farmers, and just all the varying little quirks and, just eccentricities of all these people, and how they just genuinely care so much for their animals, and even when it's very hard, like the respect that he comes to learn and grow for those farmers as they have to make very difficult decisions, because they might love those cows, but that cow is their livelihood. And if it costs too much money to feed the cow, even though the cow is not producing money for them, they have to make a difficult decision. And because pets are expensive and cows are expensive, so he goes through, there's so many fun little stories. Everybody's got like such a good humor to it, even when like the stories are a little bit sad. But it's a lovely little narrative. And this has been adapted 5 million times into film in different ways. The cover for this one is the current like BBC series, which, it's on Masterpiece, which is also BBC. Anyway, genuinely fantastic series. They do an incredible job with this one. Also, the actor who plays Neville Longbottom is in this show, and it's really good.
Yeah. I'm guessing the audio of that is also well done.
It's well done across the board. It's also been done many times,
Yeah.
so you have your choice of narrators. There's several books in the series, so it kind of comes and goes.
That is something I could see my grandma really enjoying.
For sure.
Having like been a farmer and just like being able to like dip back in and
I think that's a really good way to relate to it. But even if you don't have connections to like agriculture and whatnot, and you just kind of like love animals, because he also like takes care of cats and dogs and whatnot.
It's just gentle.
This one starts where he comes to the vet practice, and the guy who owns it, Siegfried, is like, he doesn't want an assistant, but like he's kind of being strong-armed into taking an assistant because he's so busy all the time. So he's got to like push through that and kind of make his own place. And like there's a whole cast of characters that are based off of people from like James Herriot's real life. So like they're fictionalized characters, strongly based off of the people that he actually knows, which I didn't realize until I was like reading up on a wiki a long time ago. But I can highly recommend this. I think it's like just grand. You're not going to get anything that's going to emotionally scar you. It's just a lovely little thing to sink into and just like go out into the Cotswolds and the Dales, and they're just gorgeous, so love it, do it, read it.
But if you want to be scarred. What about migrations?
Oh, what about those?
It's also about animals. And it's about all of the animals have died, actually.
Oh, dear.
Almost. So this book it's in our adult fiction. There are two main timelines, basically, present and past. And there's, several different pasts that we're dipping into. But in the present, almost all animals are extinct. Because of climate change, because of human behavior, because of over-hunting, overfishing, overconsumption. It's a dystopian future, but in a world very similar to ours. And so Franny, the main character, is following what she believes to be the last few turns on their migration south. And basically, what we know about these birds is they will go where the fish are.
Okay.
They follow the food, right? Like they need to eat. So she's thinking, well, if I follow the birds, we'll see, like, are there fish anywhere left in the ocean, and where are they?
That makes sense.
The way she can do this is by getting onto a fishing boat. But she is, like, morally opposed to what they're doing, basically. And there's some tension there. And eventually fishing becomes illegal in the world. So now she's like on this outlaw ship, basically. In the past, you find out what got her to where this is what she wants to do, because you find out that she is on this boat headed south, and her plan is to, at the end, die with the birds. Like, she's like, this will be their last migration, this will be my last trip, basically.
Sure.
So it's very cold. There's a lot of falling into the water. There's a lot of snow, ice.
Ugh.
Yes. But yeah, through the stories from the past, you find out like what has set her on this path and what has happened to her that has changed her outlook on life, basically. So yeah, it's got a little mystery element because you know she's headed for her death, but you don't know why. Oof. You know that she has had some legal troubles in the past, and that perhaps that is why she's on a boat and not on land, because she can stay away from the law when she's on the ocean. So you find out why and what all happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a cold, snowy one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a survivalist story of their own making.
Yeah, it's like dystopian survival. I read it because it is blurbed by Emily St. John Mandel, who wrote Station 11, which is a similar-ish tale of a dystopian future where,
wow,
after like a giant snowstorm.
Yeah.
/ plague. Yeah, so.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
I'll go with a snow-themed one. Here's Fangirl. So Kath and her twin sister who is named Ren. So together they are Kath and Ren. Parents. They are huge Simon Snow fans. See what I did there? I'm clever.
Yes.
Anyway, Simon Snow is basically like this world's version of Harry Potter. It's magic and stuff, chosen oneiness. Honestly, if you read this and you're just like, but hey, I would actually really like to have read the Simon Snow stories, good news. She wrote them.
She wrote those two.
She wrote those two. And there's like 3 books?
I think
so. Anyway, so this fictionalized series, Simon Snow, which is now real. Anyway, Kath is a huge fangirl for it. She has like dressed up as the characters, gone to all of the premieres for all the movies, has written a bunch of fan fiction, and is just like really, really absorbed in like the fan culture and the fan fiction for the series. And so much so that she's like really takes a lot of comfort in it. Her sister, though, has kind of grown up and away from it. It's just not her thing anymore. Now the two of them are going to college. They're going to the same college because Kath kind of like, she's nervous to go out on her own, really. And she's kind of expecting that, she can rely on the strength of her sister. Her sister's kind of very go-giddy, whereas Kath is a little bit more reserved or just nervous, or it takes her a little bit longer, really. The problem, though, is that, like, Kath absolutely expects that they're going to do everything together like they always have. But Ren is like, hey, we're not going to be roommates. I want my own life a little bit. Like, I love you. I'm not, like, ditching you or anything like that. But, like, you need to stand on your own, and you need to let me stand on my own. So Kath is, like, devastated. Now she has this roommate who's just grumpy and surly, who has this boyfriend who is, like, adorable and always there and super helpful. And clearly you've got, like, a little bit of romance brewing. There's a professor that Kath has who absolutely hates fan fiction with a fiery passion, and Kath is just like, I've written, like, catalogs of novels in fan fiction, like, what do I do? And she's also, like, she's worried about her dad, who is alone for the first time ever, and there's just a lot going on in this poor girl's head. But, she kind of begins to find herself and find her own feet, and, it's nice. It's a nice little story. Well, it is a chonker, I will give you that. But it's like a good slice of life. I think it's a good, like, representation of going to college and finding, a little bit of independence. Yeah.
You are deciding.
Yeah.
What am I going to eat today?
Exactly.
Where am I going to eat?
Like having to be self-sustaining.
Yeah.
But also in a safe environment to be self-sustaining. And she learns, a lot about herself. So it's a coming of age story. It's a where am I going story. Who am I if not for these things? And, learning that she is her own person outside of like these fandoms. She can still like those things, but it doesn't have to define her. And what's also fun is that it was adapted into a manga, which are really cute, actually. So this is actually the second volume because the first one is checked out. Hooray!
Yeah.
But I think there's like 3 or 4 volumes in
this one book is split into several volumes?
I think this one book is split into several volumes, which does make sense because the illustrations do tend to take up a little bit more space.
Yeah.
But it's sweet overall, and like just
and
on the back of it, they've got the
Simon
the
Snow
illustration
fan
of the fan art and whatnot. Yeah, I've not read that, but
a long time, like when it first came out, I think I read the first one just to get an idea of what it was. They're fun.
Yeah, they look fun. They look fun.
They do read like Harry Potter fanfic.
They totally do. I personally find it funny that like a pretend series from this, where she is writing fan fiction, the author then wrote the pretend series into a real one, which currently has actual fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like, I've searched it out just because I was like, there has to be. Like, this is way too meta.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well,
similar
in the fanfic realm, I have Girls Made of Snow and Glass, and this is a retelling of Snow White.
Nice.
But what I like about this is very character forward, and so it delves into the stepmother and the Snow White character, whose names are Mina and Lynette. And they have some character development. They have any character development. The Disney movie, they don't really get character development at all. But in this one, you find out that Mina, who for the main part of the book is an adult, but you go back into her childhood when she is like 15 or 16, and you find out that her heart has been replaced with glass. So she literally has a heart made of glass. And she is kind of like on her own, having to figure out life, and she's like, okay, I will become queen. I will marry a king, and I will become queen. That is the way that I can have some power and control. The only problem is this king has a daughter, and now I am suddenly a young stepmother.
Oh boy.
And so then fast forward to more of the present, you find out that Lynette, the daughter, is made out of snow.
Oh.
She's literally made out of snow.
That's interesting.
Yes. So she is like, you have a king and a queen who are unable to have children, and they make a deal, and they have this baby that is made out of snow.
Right. So keep her away from the fire.
Yeah.
She might melt.
So yeah, they live in a snowy kingdom, and basically these two women, one of them will be queen. They are rivals just based on their situation, but like in reality they have no beef other than
position
what this world has created for them.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of a nice, nice. It's not very nice. It's very cold. It's very frigid. But I do like that you really get to know these characters very well, and more of their motivations. And you start to feel more for the stepmother, which I think a lot of the retellings try to look at her position. And
yeah, that's kind of nice sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, get a little bit of perspective. It's not just that they're just evil. They have motivations too. So this is sort of more on like a darker fantasy.
Yeah, we have it in YA fantasy.
Right on, right on.
Dark fantasy. There is a romantic subplot, but yeah, I would say the main part of the story is just these two women in their fraught relationship as stepmother and stepdaughter.
Sweet. deal.
Yeah.
All right, let's do fraught relationships.
Yes.
The house in the Cerulean Sea. This is real pretty. Boy, howdy, does this have a lot of really good reviews.
Yes, it does.
This is also from our book discussion section. So and it was also the only copy left. So some group is currently reading this.
Well, because I think the second book has been out now for a little bit, but cool. I've been on the hold list for a while.
Have you?
Yeah. For the
second one. I need to. Having looked into this book, I absolutely need to look into this.
Yeah.
So Linus is a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth, and normally he's kind of just kept to himself. He's got his cat, and he's got his little house, and he's just fine the way it is. He likes just doing his own thing, but then he gets called by extremely upper management for an assignment that is highly, highly classified, and they send him to this island that has an orphanage on it, precariously that one. It's a little bit of a concern where that one's located. So in this orphanage, there are 6 kids that are deemed to potentially be so incredibly dangerous that they could destroy and end the world. And they are sending Linus there to check it out and see, are they actually that bad? So he goes and he meets these kids. There's a gnome, a sprite, a wyvern, a unidentifiable green blob, a were-Pomeranian, which might be my favorite one, and, of course, the Antichrist.
Just a little Antichrist.
It's just,
the child Antichrist.
A little bit of nothing. So nothing to be concerned about overly much. But not only that, you also have Arthur, who is the master of the house, sort of protecting them and taking care of them. And this man is just going to do whatever he absolutely can to just protect these kids. And as Linus spends time getting to know them, which I do believe you get to know them all quite well, and also Arthur, he kind of finds himself really just settling in a way, and I think the line is that this unlikely family is in this unexpected place, and that this family and place may not just be the family of Arthur and these children, but also Linus himself. So it's once you throw in the Antichrist, you kind of expect really big things. But this one, if you search up cozy books, it is top of the list. So yeah, it's got a lot to it. I have not read it yet. You have, obviously. I'm very excited to read it.
I want to say I cried. I think I read this. When did it come out?
Oh, good question.
So I'm trying to remember how old my kids were, and I feel like I was
So we got it in March 2024.
But that's the book discussion copy.
2020.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were little.
Read it pretty soon when it came out. My kids were very young. I was as a new mother, thinking about what motherhood, family, what all of that meant, and I also, hormones. And I was like,
right,
family. So yeah, it is very sweet.
Yeah, it's very much a found family.
Yeah.
And a continued to build family type of a thing. So it looks really
and not
good.
Without conflict and not without plot and action and things happening. But yeah, the bulk of the story is just about how they live together,
which is really nice.
Yeah, so. It is very nice.
Yeah, I just finished streams ago. You recommended the Psalm of the Wild Built, and then Prayer for the Crown Shy, and I had just recently finished those, and this feels like it has similar flavor to that.
And I'm just noticing it was blurred by one of my favorite authors.
Oh, was it?
That's how I find new stuff. I'm the authors I already like. What they recommend.
What they said is this book is very close to perfect. So, yeah, they're fun. Oh yeah, there's Gil Carriger.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Gail Carragher says,
it's like having your own personal influencers when you have an author you know and love, and they recommend something.
I love this author.
Yeah.
She says, 1984 meets the Umbrella Academy with a pinch of Douglas Adams thrown in. An utterly absorbing story of tolerance, found family, and defeating bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah.
Sold. I'll hunt down the audiobook once I finish The Wager.
Yes.
Because I'll need some palate cleansing after that one.
All right.
Talk about cold and just,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was blurred by Madeline Miller, who is the author of The Song of Achilles, which I also really love.
That one's great.
But I wanted to talk about this one next because it also features an island.
Of course.
An island in Norway, in the 1600s Norway. A storm, a Christmas Eve storm, just comes on suddenly and wipes out basically this island's entire male population because they are out on their fishing boats. It's a fishing island.
Ouch.
And the women see it happen.
Oh no.
They've sent their husbands, sons out, and they see them all die. And it is weeks before they get all the bodies back. The bodies come back to shore.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is. And then they have to figure out life. Should any of the women go out fishing? They've not grown up learning how to fish. It is not, proper for the women to do that, but they need to eat.
Yeah.
Do they move into houses together to take care of each other? Do they how do they rearrange their society to fit? It's adult women and children, so there are boys still, but there are no adult men besides the pastor. He's the one who's not out there. And so the pastor is semi a leader, but is very quickly replaced by one of the more vocal women,
right?
Who's you take care of the church things, we'll come to church, but I will be in charge of organizing the women, organizing fishing trips, and taking care of our community. Meanwhile, on mainland Norway, they hear about this, and they're like, I don't like that.
Of course.
I don't like that these women are in charge and they're figuring it out, and they seem to be doing okay. So they start sending, they send another man there and his new wife.
Just one, because that solves all the issues.
Just one.
Also, it's hey, we're not going to help them until they're succeeding.
Anything. We're gonna give them a man to say, actually, no, you can't do this.
Right.
And so he tries to take charge. It doesn't really work out for him.
Oh boy.
But it also doesn't really work out for the women, because pretty soon he starts accusing them of witchcraft.
Oh no.
Because how else would these women get fish, right? They don't know how to fish, but they came back with these nets full of fish. Must be witchcraft. How did the men die? That storm came on so suddenly. Perhaps they sent them out to their death.
Because the Northern Sea is not known for,
yeah,
for all of those upstarting, storms.
Yeah.
Oh golly.
The cool thing about this is it is based on an actual storm.
Yeah.
The Vardo storm.
Ooh.
Which happened in early 1600s Norway, and then later the 1621 witch trials.
Oh wow.
That also occurred there. So this author has kind of tied that all together to make this story. And you do follow one family pretty closely, and then the wife of the man who gets sent. You hear her story as well. So yeah, it's a tough one. But yeah, if you like women's rights and women's wrongs.
Yeah.
The Mercies.
It's also a social commentary of a historical time, too.
Yeah.
And sort of the perception of who can do what at that time, too. So,
yeah, and I think she did her research as far as what were people eating, how were they dressing, what were the social norms and customs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Heavy one.
Yeah. Great for January.
All right, well, I can do an ounce of devastation simply because it made me really upset. So this is The Spell Shop This is, I had to get it our large type version. So if you want to, like, use big words.
Do you know we have kids who request large type because there's more pages? So it feels like you're reading a bigger book, but it, like...
That's so clever. And then you, like, blast through the pages because there's less words per page. And it's less intimidating, too.
So,
actually...
whatever works.
That's very smart. Good job, kids.
But sometimes, even if it is a thin book, if the text is very small, it's intimidating to...
It can be. Yeah, absolutely.
Readers who aren't as confident.
That's so smart. I love that. Love that for them. So this is about Keela. No idea if I've said that right. Doesn't matter. Keela? I'm going to go with Keela. So Keela is a librarian at the Great Library of Elysium. And she's got a assistant named Kaz, who is a magically sentient spider plant.
I want that.
I know you're already sold on this.
I want that.
I am aware that you are 100. Honestly, I am too. Let's be fair. Here's where the devastation comes in. An uprising happens, and the library is burned down.
You know what? I thought that might happen.
Yeah. So Keela and her assistant Kaz grab up everything that they can possibly carry, try and save, and they flee to the island that is also her hometown. That, you know, clearly it's a place that she never thought that she'd have to go back to ever again, because we need to have that kind of tension immediately off the bat. Keela herself is quite a grumpy Gus. She likes to just have things just her own way and please be left alone. Unfortunately, her neighbors are weird. And specifically, there's one particular neighbor who is annoyingly handsome as he is nosy and regularly stopping by to make sure that she has eaten that day. And he just can't seem to take the hint, you know? Like, he just keeps on coming around. And, so she starts to settle back into this new community. Well, new to her. She's not been there for quite some time. The cast of townsfolk are just absolutely quirky and weird and have their own very strong personalities. She's trying to also find how is she going to contribute? Like, how is she going to live her life now? Like, she's got to make money somehow. Like, what can she provide this community so that she can, you know, make an income? And she finds out that, very oddly, the thing that this island lacks is jam.
Oh.
They don't have jam.
No preserves.
Oh. But with a little bit of illegal magic, she suddenly has a lot of berries in her property, and she starts selling jam, and it becomes very popular. And that kind of leads to other things that they don't have that she also uses a little bit of illegal magic to provide and like gain access to. And that kind of starts a secret underground spell shop that she now runs. So it's giving me like a little bit of like Legends and Latte vibes. But you know, a little more like gruff main character who's just like, I just want to be left alone, but now I have to be social.
My toasted jam.
I just want my jam. I want a good tea time. And you know, then she kind of becomes a bit of an integral part of the town and whatnot. And it is shelved in romance.
Okay.
So do expect that's where it's going, because it is. But I'm gonna read this one up too. So, like I said, like all the ones I've not read here, they're absolutely on my list.
Okay. Should I do this one or should I do like a straightforward stranded?
Oh.
Maybe I'll talk about this one.
Yeah.
Two Truths and a Lie.
Good start.
One that we hand to kids all the time, because it's about a high school theater group on their way to like a something competition.
Sure. Yeah.
And then snow starts and they have to pull off the road and there's a motel. It's a little sketchy, but what can you do? This is what's available. And another high school had the same idea. So this theater group, another theater group.
Are they competitors?
They're competitors. stranded in this motel.
Sabotage?
Death.
That's sabotage.
They play 2 truths and a lie, and one of the slips of paper says, "I like to watch people die. I've lost count of how many people I've killed."
Dude, that's not just something that you do.
Yeah, and then people start dying in the motel. So yeah, it's this is crime, right? We gotta figure out who the killer is before we become killed. Is it the competition? Is it someone from your own troop? Is it some random person staying at the motel?
Oh boy.
It's a locked room mystery, right? Because everyone's stranded in this motel.
So it's Among Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Among Us
and a murder.
There's a little map.
Maps.
Of the motel.
I love map. It is Among Us. Yeah. You have a map. They're all running around.
A lot of fun.
Oh my goodness. When did that one come out? Yeah. Oh yeah, the little sub blurbies are 13 check-in. How many will check out? So we got this in 2022. So yeah, 2022. That is well into the Among Us years.
Yeah.
That actually sounds a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you just it's fast. Mm-hmm. It's a fun one.
Yeah, it's a short one too.
Yeah.
Like
it's gonna be cold, but yeah, if you're a crime head.
Yeah, trapped with a murderer kind of a story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, high octane type of a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got anything that really relates into that.
Mine didn't really relate either. It just was.
I know, but I kind of have fun like trying to find the threads, you know?
Yeah.
Let's do Comey.
Yeah.
Comey can't communicate.
High schooler, right?
High school.
Yeah.
There we go. We found it. Look at you. Like, what would I do without you? Yeah. So Comey, this is a manga. So it's a graphic novel. You do read it from right to left, back to front. This is, I adore it. I just do. I adore it. So Comey has massive social anxiety. But nobody really realizes it. She kind of she's gorgeous. Everyone just thinks that she's just the prettiest girl there, and she's just got such elegance. She never speaks ever, but every single time that it kind of comes to where she can kind of speak, she kind of panics and will write her name on the board. If she's told what is your name to introduce herself, she zooms to the board and writes her name. But everyone is, instead of people kind of clocking that as a bit odd, they kind of just go the elegance, it's amazing, she's just at, and so people
so
are
more
just
she's mysterious.
Yeah, it kind of, instead of, she thinks everyone's judging her, and she just feels so much pressure, when in reality everyone's just she can do no wrong. You know. Mm-hmm. So then comes along this boy here, Tadano, and he's I'm really good at reading people. It's kind of my special skill, which he kind of introduces himself. He's I'm great at reading people, and people are shut up. You're so what? Who says that?
But he can't read the room.
No, he can't read the room, but he can figure people out, but he can't read the room in any way. However, he clocks her immediately, and he's just she doesn't have any friends, and because she's scared to talk, she's nervous, maybe I'll try and reach out to her and kind of connect with her and try and help her. It takes a bit of trial and error because she's just so terrified the whole entire time, and other people are looking at him what are you doing to our goddess? How dare you go near her and talk to her? You are the worst. But they figure out how to communicate with, Comey can't communicate, but they do. They figure out how to understand each other. And he's you just want friends, right? You want to be able to reach out to people and make friends. And she's just so desperate for it. And she's I want to make 100 friends. I want so many friends. And he's okay, we'll make it happen. All right. It is a long series. It is so very, very sweet. There's a lot of characters, cast of characters that sort of, it starts small and it builds up as the series runs. And yeah, there's absolutely a little bit of romance that ends out like further in, but it's precious. Yeah. It's precious. Can't recommend it enough. I also think that it's got some like really nice, like neurodiverse, anxiety representation. So I think it's nice to like kind of have that sort of rep and like be seen type of a thing. I also feel like it's a good example of like how teens, or honestly anybody, feels with social anxiety of just like all eyes are on me and everyone is judging me and it's just so much weight and I can't function. Like I want so desperately to reach out and like connect with people, but I can't do it, Yeah. And it just goes through. And they're all so cute, really. So read this.
All right, what if you were desperate to get out of your high school?
Oh.
Because you're trapped.
Oh, no.
In your high school.
Oh, boy.
Because of a snowstorm. And it's Friday, and you're waiting to get picked up, and then it starts snowing, and then you realize no one's coming to pick you up. Yeah. And then you're stuck in your high school for a week.
Okay.
That's what it is.
So it's like winter break happened, and you're spending it there?
Yeah.
I hate it.
I think it's 4 kids.
Oh.
Yeah, power goes out, obviously no heat.
That's all right.
You gotta eat whatever's left in the cafeteria.
Woof.
Mm-hmm.
Which probably wasn't that great to begin
There's
with.
not a murderer, though, at least.
All right,
okay. As far as I know. We've got this in fiction, not crime.
Okay.
You're not trapped with a murderer, just some classmates.
Yeah, more of a survival.
Yeah.
Like a standard survival, not a horror survival.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Down. Let's do another graphic novel. This is Nimona. Nimona is such a fun graphic novel. This has also been adapted into a Netflix movie, which is excellent. But it does shift away from the book in several degrees while still keeping like the main important bits, you know? So Lord Ballister Blackheart is a villain with a vendetta, and he is determined to kind of like stick it to his rival, Sir Ambrosius Goldenloin. Wonderful names. Yeah. And sort of he's sort of like the evil mastermind, dark scientist type of dude, and Sir Goldenloin is sort of, he's blonde and just like waving hair and it's very exaggerated. Enter in Nimona, who is like, hey, I am answering the ad for a assistant. I'm gonna be your sidekick. And Blackheart's like, what ad? And she's like, the one I drew myself. Turns out that she is a shapeshifter, and like her introduction is like, I'm a shark, and like really, it's I'm a shark. The illustrations are funny and silly. She kind of like, she is absolutely not wanted or understood, but she makes sort of like a connection. Hi, Yummy Rocks. Good to see you. Glad you're joining us. So Nimona sort of like kind of makes a place for herself in a friendship with Blackheart over here. And the two of them run a little bit amok. You do find that there's, you learn a lot about her. You learn a lot about him and him. There's a lot of like, a little bit of subtext across the whole board. It's a fun little adventure. The movie is, I really, really love the movie. It's so well animated. And believe it or not, this has an audiobook, which I would have talked about in our Listen Up ones, but I forgot twice.
We're talking about it now.
Yeah, which it's like, how do you do an audiobook of a graphic novel? Like, how do you audiobook that? Well, you do it like a radio drama.
It's really good.
It's really good. It has music. There's like a different voice actor for every single character, and they like
sound effects.
Oh, it's really good. Like, do yourself a favor and grab the audiobook for like read this. This is fun by itself.
At the same time, you can flip through it.
Oh, you absolutely actually that'd be a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like watching a movie.
Yeah, the illustrations.
And then you can watch the movie.
Yeah, the illustrations for this are so funny. This is Stevenson, who has like such a good humor and like illustration style, and there's like snarky like sarcasm throughout the whole entire thing. Sorry to jiggle the camera, but yeah, I enjoy it a lot. But the audiobook is not to be missed at all. So, all right, you need one more cold one, I think.
Okay,
and then I'll do one more cozy one.
We're gonna end with Cold the Night, Fast the Wolves, which I believe. No, wait, I'm confusing with another one. I have another racing one, but this one is about a race, about sled race.
Okay.
So the main character, Senna, yes, does not like the sled races because her mom's died.
Oof.
Participating. So she has to like make her way somewhere else, somehow else. But she lives on an ice planet. This is sci-fi. The sled race is the business of her village, right? But she wants nothing to do with it.
Right. Fair.
Because of this, she gets herself into some debt.
Oh.
And she needs to A, make a lot of money really quickly, and B, hopefully leave the planet.
Oh, okay. That suddenly shifted things. Got it.
So, to do that, she is hired by a team of scientists to enter the sled race.
Of course.
If she wins, she gets the prize money, and the scientists will pay her way off planet.
Oh.
So she can escape from the gangster who wants to kill her because of the debt that she owes him. So she's now finding herself in the sled race. She has a feral wolf as her companion, and it's just like a chase across the tundra.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely went through a phase of just like absolutely loving any wolf story, so
Yes.
I'm sold already.
It's like Balto
yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh, okay. I mean, it is absolutely shelved in science fiction.
Yes.
I can see that right now.
Yeah.
I did not necessarily. You don't expect that with the cover, though.
You do not expect it with the cover. I think because they are on an ice planet, like not Earth.
Yeah.
And she's having to use survival skills and survival technology that.
So we got a lot of crossover genres here.
Yeah.
That's nice.
If you like a snow survival, but you want to like dip your toes into sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you like Star Wars, I think that you would like, with the racing, I think you would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for my last book, that is, I don't think anything like that, other than there's a dog in it. This is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Sorry. Encyclopedia. Yeah, we've got the fancy spellings. Encyclopedia. We currently also have this one. I also grabbed the large type version because
there's probably book discussion ones on that too.
It was also checked out.
Yeah.
It is a very popular, and I think the sequel is looming or loomed.
I think the sequel's out, but the third.
Oh, that's
it's
a jam.
A trilogy at this point.
Yeah, this came out 2023, so not overly too long ago. So it is about time for like a sequel and a third to kind of be around.
Yeah.
So Emily is absolutely not a people person. She is a professor who does a lot of studies and archivy things. She has a pet dog, and that's really all that she needs. And her biggest area of study are the fae folk, the fairy folk, which are a thing here. Like, absolutely everybody knows they're real. So she is in particular wanting to study a particular brand, I guess, group, known as the Hidden Ones, and she goes to this like weird kind of standalone village. It's away from everything, called Hrafsnavik. I think I did it. Hrafsnavik?
Yeah.
We're going with it.
I'm going with it.
So
There's an audiobook, so
there is an audiobook. So use those specifically because I have a feeling that we're going to be getting some names that you just aren't going to know how to say them.
Yeah.
So she goes to this village and she starts exploring and trying to uncover the secrets of the Hidden Ones. And while she's there, obviously, there are people who live there, because this is a village. And she starts to, as she spends more time, she gets to know these people. They're, a bit odd and a bit gruff, but so is she. She starts to make some friends. There's also Wendell, who annoyingly showed up. He is her academic rival. He is also here to study and to find things out, or so he says. Because his annoyingly obviously handsome face, may not be telling all the secrets as they need to be shared. So while she's here to unlock all of these mysteries of the Hidden Ones, she's also finding that those are not the only questions that need to be answered. Wendell is here for a reason. Why? Why is he here? And
why do the village people love him?
Why?
But not her.
But why?
Because he's handsome.
It's probably because he's handsome. This is another one. I have not read it yet. Have you read this one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
I really liked it.
There's a reason why there's 3 copies. There are 3 books in the series, I think. I don't even know if it's a so far.
And I think I did the audio now that
Did you?
But of course I don't know how to pronounce anything.
So it looks very fun, gentle, and just a good, kind of like a slice of life fantasy academic-ishness going on to it.
Yeah. And because it's called an encyclopedia, and so the way it's written is her entries, her journal entries as she's researching.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's true.
At some point, Wendell gets a hold of it, and you have a couple entries from Wendell.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, does he read? All right. Anyway, grand. That's a good cozy one.
It is.
We did have a few more, but frankly, we're out of time, and I think we've covered.
Yeah, you've got a lot of options.
You got a lot of options for the days that you just absolutely don't want to go outside because it's absolutely freezing. And if your preference is to just sit in that space and freeze yourself, all of Rachel's options are really good. Mm-hmm. If you'd rather ignore all of the coldness and just kind of sit with a lovely little cozy little tidbit, mine are your better choice. While I was listening to you, I kind of realized for me listening to yours, I was man, I can't wait to talk about some of these because I need that seems too intense for me, but I could also see other people listening to this and just being no, that's kind of boring. Get to the good stuff, so a little bit of something for a little bit of everybody.
Yeah.
Gruel, just cool. Golden. I was going with golden and cool at the same time, and we got Gruel. Gruel. All right, I think we're good for the day.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Yummy Rocks, for stopping in and saying hi. It was good to see you. We will be back next Thursday with another bunch of books for our book buffet.
And these books will go, we have a list in our catalog of books mentioned on Twitch.
Right.
So you can find
Yeah,
them.
as seen on Twitch, I think is what the title is.
The catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere.
We also upload all of these videos onto our YouTube channel, including all of our Let's Plays and whatnot, and all of the clips that turn into shorts and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So feel free. You can backlog. Yay, backlog. Specifically, I would recommend Listen Up Part 2, because we had microphone problems for the first bit, and I had a lot of fun editing that one to entertain myself.
Yes.
All right, for now, I think we are good to go. So everyone, have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.